Hi, Steve Hewitt with KTA. Welcome to the morning committee.
And some of the, green light, I should have known that. Again, good morning, and we're excited to be here. I'm Steve Hewitt. I'm the CEO of Kansas Turnpike. So I want to introduce a couple of staff members I brought with me as well. Director of IT, Bruce Meisch, is with me today. General Counsel for us, Alan Streit, and Director of Engineering, Glenn Scott, is with us today. So any potential questions I don't know, I brought the experts to help me. But again, we're excited to be here. We love telling our story at the KTA. We have obviously some updates, some new projects that are out there. So it's always good to give those. Okay. Okay. Oh, too many clicks here. Okay. Well, again, so with the Kansas Turnpike, obviously our mission is very important. We obviously want to, bring you a safe, reliable system. We are very focused on customer values and making sure the customer gets what they need. And obviously we want to be fiscally responsible. And so those are all the things that are obviously in our mission. It's always the fun history to look back at the Kansas Turnpike, created in 1956 when it opened. We are in our 70th year, so we're here in 2026 in October will be our 70th birthday, and we're proud to still be a part of the state. One of the key things I think was really nice was that this project came about not to be a burden on the state. So the tolls to cover everything independently, and we still run that today. I'm not here to ask for anything. I'm here just to give you an update. We don't take any tax dollars. We don't take any state or federal tax dollars. We are independently leaning on those tolls to make sure we have a good system and put that money right back in the system and deliver it for Kansans. So no burden to the state at all. I think it's also a good point I want to make is that 50% of our traffic comes from out of state. So nearly half of the revenue is coming from out-of-staters to help cover the cost of this, not putting all the burden on folks here in Kansas that use this day to day. Just a little, update of really who we are. You probably know a lot of this stuff, but obviously the Turnpike runs from the Oklahoma border up to Kansas City. We have 3 call centers that you can here in Wichita, Topeka, and Lawrence. You can also those are retail locations as well. So if you have a question about your K-tag or a billing, you can walk into those facilities as well. 236 miles, 1,000 lane miles. We have a little over 300 full-time employees. We actually have 47 troopers dedicated to the Kansas Turnpike. We cover all their costs, cars, equipment, uniforms, health insurance, salaries, and they're dedicated just for the KTA. So no burden on the state there as well. We cover everything. I have 9 different maintenance facilities up and down the Turnpike, and we spread those out so we make sure I have a nice rotation of managing about 35 miles in each location. Really dedicated to those locations to make sure they're really nice and up to the standards we want to make sure that all our customers and folks here in Kansas have. So people probably ask a lot about, how many folks are using the Kansas Turnpike. Well, obviously we've gone to cashless tolling, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We had 167 million transactions last year. That is actually about 37 million travelers last year on the Kansas Turnpike. This obviously is an important freight corridor, 35, 335, I-70. So understanding that's important for the freight. We put a lot of money into making sure we're prepared for all the freight that's up and down the Turnpike. About $150 million in toll revenues expected this year. And we put that all back into the system. Moody's has us rated the highest rating you can receive for bond rating for a public turnpike. So we take that as something we want to hold our hat on to make sure we're financially in a good spot for Kansas as well. Okay, so about 8 years ago, we did an economic impact study, and we wanted to look at what the Kansas Turnpike was providing to Kansas. We've recently just updated that. We just got that back. And so wanted to make sure to provide this information to you. So the impact shows that, we produce about 1,200 plus jobs for Kansas. We put about $126 million back into the Kansas economy. 13% of Kansas, the economy relies on the Kansas Turnpike. So that's important for us to know. Our staff needs to understand that. I want to provide that to you and our board so that we take that as an important, I think, understanding to keep the system at a high level. The rating needs to be really good. The condition of the system needs to be really good because Kansas relies on it. And obviously, an interstate system. I also want to point out we have a great bond rating. We're fiscally really in a good spot, and we have the lowest electronic toll rates in the country per mile. And so those are things we really hold our hat on because we want to make sure it's affordable, yet very reliable for our customers. 10 years ago, we really focused on customer service from the standpoint of getting feedback from customers, and we do surveys every year. We recently just got back our 2025 survey. 91% of our customers support cashless tolling. That's an important number. 95% of our customers understand that we're really important to Kansas transportation. And when I say we do surveys, we received about 32,000 surveys back from customers. And last year we received about 35,000, and in 23 about 38,000. So those are really good numbers. So I think these numbers are important because we send it out to hundreds of thousands of customers, and we're getting a pretty good return on their information. So it shows our satisfaction is very high with them. One of the key I also want to point out is that in some of that survey stuff, all areas of satisfaction grew. So I think that's important. So we want to make sure that we're doing better every single year. We're meeting the customer needs and making sure that everything is safer, more convenient. We're listening to customers. They want low tolls, but they want a very convenient system that gets them around the state at an efficient rate. Drive KS is important because when we went to cashless tolling 18 months ago, this was a new portal payment. And so this is a little bit different. So this was a big change for customers. So yes, you can Google or search Kansas Turnpike. You can go search KTAG. But Drive KS is the portal to help pay your payments, help KTAG customers, non-KTAG customers, commercial customers, non-commercial customers, manage all their information when it comes to tolling. And I just wanted to point this out because this has really become our direction going forward. It's a one-stop shop for all customers. Information about your tolls, information how the Turnpike works, all can be found here. Yes, we have our retail locations. You can walk up and talk to someone. You can call us. You can talk to a live person. But people want automation today, and we understand that. So folks that just want to call in and pay, they can do that, but they can go Drive KS and pay immediately as well. Obviously, the education is important. We're going to continue to educate Drive KS. We market this. This is the future. Makes us more efficient, which allows us to keep our tolls at a very low rate. I think everybody understands KTAG, very important. We want to make sure KTAGs, if you want to use the toll road, this is the best way. They are free. The only thing we ask for is a banking information, either a credit card, bank account, some type of payment information so we can tie that to that KTAG. But we don't charge you for that KTAG. And this guarantees you the lowest toll rates. This also, as you know, interoperability is very important. So we're connected to all these different states, Oklahoma, Florida, Colorado, Texas. We expect by the end of the year to be with Easy Pass as well. So we're working with them as well. So the goal for all turnpikes across the country are to be connected so that you don't have to worry about as a customer, whatever system I'm on, I try to have to figure out how they want me to pay. Through KTAG, we can work that out, and your transponder will work. We also work with some National Pass folks, Best Pass, Pre-Pass, National Pass, Bank Pass. All customers can be covered from commercial to KTAG to just regular customers from day to day. You can always call us, get a KTAG, go to the website, get a KTAG. we always want to push K-Tag because it's more efficient for us, and we pass that savings on to customers. It's 50% more expensive if you don't have a K-Tag, and so that's the key, because it costs us more. That's the only reason. It costs us more. So look you up, find out who you are, send you a bill, wait for you to pay. That drives our costs up, so we pass it on to that customer. K-Tag eliminates all that, and we drive that savings right back to the customer. I seem to get asked every year about security. You know, IT is really important. This day and age, I think we've seen over the last year the tech scams. There's always folks trying to reach you in multiple ways to try to scam your information. We put a tremendous amount of funding into protecting your information. We don't share, we don't sell, we protect your information. We have data encryption, 24/7, 365, monitoring on all our systems. We're PCI certified and compliant. We make sure that we protect. We have a lot of customer information. We don't want that getting out. In fact, if you have an account with us, you tell us who you want us to talk to on that account. And to be honest with you, Chairman, if you don't have your wife on the account and your wife calls in about your K-Tech information, I'm not going to give it to her. You have to make sure to put you on that account. But that's important, and I say that tongue-in-cheek, but really that is important because your information is vital for you. We don't share it. We don't give it out. We understand that we're always being attacked every day. Our IT director tells me we've spent millions over the years, and we'll continue to invest in security when it comes to your information. They try to get us every day. They'll try it in many different ways, and we work with the federal government and other third parties to try to make sure to monitor, and when we hear these things like the text alerts and different out-of-country scams that come in, we get that to them so they can knock those websites down, and we'll continue to fight those things the best we can, but we want you to know that that's important to us, and we take that seriously. Projects. Well, we're always doing projects. Obviously, we're small compared to KDOT and some things. Our little system, we try to invest all the money right back into it. So here in 2026, we expect to spend about $56 million on a few projects. Here's just a few of the top 12 projects you can see here. I think one of the most exciting projects, which is probably not from a standpoint of road work, is we're going to start building a new Emporia service area. If you know those two buildings there at Emporia, if you've driven up and down, they've outlived their life. They need to be updated. Within the next month, we'll probably see that old McDonald's, which is currently a Subway, Taco John's, we're tearing that down. We will leave the fuel system up while we build a new fuel facility. We're going to do a concept similar to a quick trip concept, one-stop shop. You can get some food, you can get fuel, larger restrooms, cleaner restrooms, newer facility, and we hope to have that done sometime early next year. That's actually a pretty exciting project for us because when we talk about satisfaction and complaints, we probably get more complaints on Emporia service area than we get anything, and that's sad, but it told us we needed to upgrade that facility, and we've done some upgrades of other facilities, but it was time for us to do that. We just wrapped up 10 years worth of capital projects. We spent about $1 billion on improvements that include our cashless tolling. We continue to invest in bridge raising, truck parking, pavements, ongoing drainage and other items. We raised over 75 bridges to a higher threshold to meet the standards for commercial travelers, and we'll continue to raise our bridges as part of our capital effort. In the next 5 years, we're working on another 5-year plan right now, but we'll continue to invest, and again, we put those dollars right back in preservation and updates to our system to make sure we meet the needs of all the customers across the board. Part of that, it comes at safety assessment. We're now in phase 3 of safety assessment, identifying any safety issues on the Kansas Turnpike. We look at friction, we look at our curves, we look at water, drainage, we look at everything. Bridge heights, we just talked about that. We're committed to a safer road. We even look at things like paint and lighting and all these things. So these assessments help us understand ways we can put our dollars, the best place to put those dollars to create a safer system, to improve the system the best way we can. Listen, we have a 70-year-old system. The design of our roadway, which I think is really unique and nice, is beautiful, especially if you're driving the Flint Hills. but you wouldn't build some of those curves to those grades today. However, though, what can we do to make sure they're still safe for our travelers, and we're investing in that. So we have into our third phase of that assessment, and we'll continue, and that's going to drive our next 5 years worth of projects and improvements. I get asked a lot about community partnerships. You know, we do support community partnerships. How that works, if someone from local government reaches out to us, we are more than willing to talk about interchanges and improvements. We'll do feasibility studies. We typically do a cost share with the locals on that. I'll give you 2 examples. We're currently working with City of Topeka on a California 29th interchange discussion. We currently are still in discussions with the City of Auburn and Shawnee County on an Auburn interchange on about 167, 168, that mile marker just south of Topeka. So we continue to do that. We'll do other feasibility studies over the years with other folks, and we'll continue that. We do feasibility studies to talk about can potential new revenue come to cover the cost of that project. Usually doesn't cover 100% of it, and so then we talk about a cost share split with that community, and we'll continue to do that, and we're excited to do more of those projects in the future. Cashless tolling has allowed us, with no toll booths, to do those things more efficiently. We don't have to build toll booths and all the infrastructure around that. I think that's a better opportunity going forward. One key thing is we run into the question of, locals, like, local government trying to use federal dollars and federal grants. Unfortunately, we cannot take any federal dollars. We don't take federal dollars. And the reason is that creates, by federalizing the Kansas Turnpike, it eliminates all service areas and fuel and those things we offer today. We don't need those federal dollars, but nor can we take federal dollars to federalize it. So we don't take federal dollars. I think there's some misconceptions sometimes. State dollars, yes. So if a community would want to work through KDOT and get some dollars to cover their cost share, they could do that. But we do not allow, unfortunately, federal dollars as well. But again, we always are willing to work with communities on potential new projects in the future. Well, the hot topic, I think, right now is US 69. It opened Saturday. This is a KDOT project, very, very hot project, very talked about. It's an Overland Park from 103rd Street to 151st. This is a congestion tool for KDOT. Huge project that KDOT did here. We are a partner with KDOT on the tolling piece. So the managed lane, the additional lane, the inside lane, we're going to manage that for KDOT. And we're excited to be a partner with them to do that, and our customers can see that consistency. I'm sure you know how it works. I'll just lay it out again. So the additional third lane is the toll lane. It'll be clearly marked with DMS boards on the pricing, and that pricing can potentially change throughout the day based on traffic, and right now it's a time-of-day pricing that KDOT selects. This is a KDOT project. It's not a KTA project. We are managing the managed lanes for them from the tolling piece. So how that works is you have your 2 general purpose lanes, don't cost you anything, but if you like to go a little quicker, a little faster, and you see an opening, you can move into the express lanes. Now, the key here, double white line stripes, don't cross it then. Wait for the 2 different zones. There'll be openings with the white dash lines. Then you can slide into there. The price will be clearly marked. If you want to pay for that and go there, you can, or you don't have to. How it works, though, if you're a KTAG customer, really no change. We're going to bill your KTAG. We're going to send all the revenue to KDOT. KDOT just covers our costs to put those transactions together and work that. So we're going to be made whole, but all the revenue goes to KDOT. If you don't have a KTAG, you'll be a picture taken of your license plate, a bill sent to you. When you pay, we'll send those revenues to KDOT. And again, our costs will be covered. And then we've determined our cost per transaction, and then we'll audit, KDOT and ourselves will audit from the third party to determine our costs were correct or not, to make sure, and we'll true up or true down based on that. Fairly simple, but our involvement saves KDOT money. There was no need for KDOT to create a new tolling division, hire toll experts, and create all that. Just utilize Kansas Turnpike. The other thing that's very helpful is our customers want consistency, so the billing will be the same. So if you have a bill today, KTAG or non-KTAG, it will look the same. It may say US 69, it may say Texas, it may say KTA, but that consistency for customers so they're not confused. We will handle all the back office information as well from a standpoint of customer service. You can call us. My customer service reps will handle all those questions. We are trained to do that. No need for KDOT to create a customer service call center. We'll do all that for them. We just build that into cost and pass that on to KDOT. But again, all revenue goes to KDOT. This is a congestion tool for KDOT. US 69 was one of the busiest 4 lanes in the state. This will alleviate a lot of that congestion for them, and we're just excited to be a part of that project. This project really happens because in Legislature, yourself in 2019 allowed tolling to be another tool in the toolbox for KDOT to use as a partial way to help a project be completed. And so this is our first partnership when it comes to additional toll lanes. There hasn't been new toll lanes in Kansas since 1956. So this is a unique project. So we look forward to having that. Right now, traffic is pretty light. I think the customers and the public has been looking at ways to avoid construction and cones. They'll start to migrate back to US 69, knowing how quick and convenient it is. And we'll start to see that, but we are excited to be a part of that. So Drive KS is still the way for all customers. They don't have to worry about going to KDOT and calling KDOT. But again, and we're here to help KDOT, and we're excited to be a part of that project. Our cashless tolling upgrades allows this to happen. If we were not doing if we had not done cashless tolling, it would have been challenging for us to be a partner. And so this helps KDOT save a lot of money in operational costs. We'll send the revenue to them, and this will help the congestion in that area. So that'll be a nice project, and we're excited to have it open. I just want to point, in all aspects, we're here to help. Constituents, customers, send them to us. I mentioned Drive KS. We have a robust marketing and communication effort from YouTube. You can pay 24 hours a day over the phone. You can go to the website and pay. We have customer service at different locations. You can walk in, or you can give us a call. You can talk to a live person. We're gonna spend money on educating. We're gonna make sure we're here to help. And if you guys have any questions, or your customers or your constituents, we want to make sure that we are trying to get the information out, make it as easy as possible for folks to understand how it works and how to pay. And so that's what we're here for. So we'll always focus on that. That's part of our customer satisfaction effort to make sure we're doing a good job for the state. Again, I'll just summarize. We don't take any tax dollars. We're not here to ask for anything. We're just here to give you an update. We love to tell you that we have the lowest electronic toll rates in the country. That's always fun to say. We're very focused on safety and improvement. And it's nice to see that the road is being half paid by out-of-staters. Again, very excited to announce that we're part of the US 69 project that went live Saturday. So with that said, Chairman, I'm open to questions if there are any.
Thank you, Madam, sorry, it's early, Mr. Chair, thank you. Thank you for being here. Always appreciate your presentation and the information, and love the way the KTA works. It's wonderful. I do have a couple questions about K-tags, only because it appears to be a little inconsistent, and perhaps you don't have to answer this now if you need to get back to me. But if you change your license plate, not your car, same K-tag, you're just upgrading your license plate or getting a personalized plate or whatever, a couple of people have had to change their K-tag, but a couple of people have not. They just assign that plate to the K-tag that's already in the system. Is there a reason that you would not be able to do that? Just keep the same K-tag, reassign it, eliminate one plate, add another?
Yeah, all that can be handled either through a customer rep or through Drive KS. You shouldn't need to change your K-tag. Your K-tag will work. You just let us know what your license plate. And the license plate's important just because of the fact, let's say you got a new windshield or something happened, say the K-tag didn't work anymore, and so we saw your license plate in the lane, that we would know to charge the account so you could still get the K-tag rate. So I don't know why that, I'd love to hear more details about that specific, because you shouldn't have to get a new K-tag. But if you do need a new K-tag, obviously we'll send it to you for free, we'll mail it to you out. Maybe the K-tag went bad, or maybe misinformation was sent, but no, you shouldn't have to. We can just update the tag, the license plate to the tag, and you shouldn't have to do anything at all. Just give us a call or go through the website and do that. But yeah. But if I can get more detail from you, I can figure out maybe why that may have happened, though.
May I ask one follow-up, Mr. Chair? So, and it's a different topic. So when you go out to decide who's going to offer the food at these different I'm going to call them rest areas, but we know they're not, service centers, how do you decide? Taco John's is not my favorite. Can I just say that?
I appreciate it.
It's a personal thing.
It's not like you think. I don't say, CEO loves Taco John's, let's have a Taco John's. No, it doesn't quite work that way.
Just wondering.
No, by statute, we're required to bid those like transportation projects, and we've done that. So what we do, we pre-qualify all potential bidders. They offer concepts. We also listen to our customers, which one variety. I'm not a big Taco John fan yourself when I'm traveling. I actually miss McDonald's when I was there. I love my McDonald's coffee in the morning when I'm traveling, but McDonald's didn't rebid. But we do that through a bid process. Now, I'm glad you brought that up, though. But through transportation bids have slightly changed to alternative bids. Most recent effort here is we did a new bid for this facility in Emporia, and we actually are considering concepts because of feedback as part of the bid. So price is one component, but approach and all the other items can be added in that too. So a little alternative bid, but it has to be. We do it like transportation projects. So money does matter. Operator has to be qualified, but we do consider the concept, and we are actually negotiating with the current bid winner on new concepts at Emporia. So because we're trying to understand, but stay consistent with the statute as well. I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the presentation today. A good portion of the US 69 highway project runs through, I'm sorry, not US, but 69 highway runs through Senate District 11. So very much appreciate the work that's been done and that it's finally open on Saturday. And I do believe, and obviously the hope is that it helps with congestion in that area. So I think that'll be a great service for those of us who travel that highway nearly every day. Thank you. My question is, so we were traveling along that way Sunday night coming home from an event, and there was no traffic really in any of the lanes, and certainly no traffic in the express lane. And this morning, headed towards Topeka, same thing, no congestion in any of the three lanes. My question is there ever a time, such as there's no traffic on any of the lanes, that the toll for the express lane will be zero?
Yeah, I'm going to try to answer the best way I can. So all the rate structures and policies are driven by KDOT. We basically just plug them into our system. So I don't have an answer for you if KDOT is or is not considering that as an option. And so they tell us what the charge needs to be so that we charge appropriately. I do want to say, though, we were expecting light traffic when it first opened up. I think behavior of customers or behavior of travelers when there's cones and construction, they find alternative routes. They then, when the construction is completed, they then start back to that location. So I think the key is, I think we want to evaluate the traffic and see what it does in congestion. The main thing is that it's supposed to alleviate the congestion in the general purpose lanes. And right now, there hasn't been a lot of congestion the first couple of days. And the weekends will be very light. I want to say that as well. Weekends are very light. It's the weekday rush hour that's the biggest issue. But as for the pricing, I have to refer that to KDOT. That is not going to be determined by the Kansas Turnpike Authority. When they tell us, we will charge whatever they want to charge or eliminate charges. But But again, I think the key is we need to see over the first few months here, is the pricing correct? That we don't know. I don't think
Sure.
they did studies with the community, did traffic and revenue studies. Some of they were done years ago, and now, but you had to go live to see if it works. And I think we'll see if it works or not, if the pricing's correct or not, and I think they can adjust as needed. But I do have to refer you back to them. If KDOT wants to change any pricing, they just let us know and we'll adjust.
Thank you. And if I may have one follow-up question. So what is the range in prices that KDOT has told you? What is the maximum that would be charged? And what is, I guess the minimum's not zero, but what is the minimum what's the range that you have from KDOT right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So 35 cents is the baseline right now. And if you multiple zones, then you could go up to $1.75. That's the peak right now. Again, so that's where they start, and they fluctuate during the rush hour peaks. They'll bump up like early morning, and then again the evening. But in long term, there is a, right now they've got it pretty set. They could go to full congestion pricing, which fluctuates every 15 minutes. They've not done that yet. But again, that's all driven by the speed and the amount of traffic in the lane. But right now, 35 cents, and the max you'd pay would be $1.75.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Warren, and we will get research to look into that with KDOT. KDOT's in Washington, D.C. right now, so they're not in the room to be able to answer.
Great. Appreciate that follow-up.
Senator Clays.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for coming today. First of all, I've done a complete 180 on turnpikes in general. I used to hate them with a passion, mainly because you were stopping traffic to collect 35 cents, and the pollution of everyone sitting there, the inefficiency and everything. But now, I mean, with the electronic tags, I mean, they're brilliant. They're just probably one of the best ideas. A use fee for using the highway. I'm also really happy to hear that you're not just a caretaker administration. You're reaching out to expand in ways and work with creating some other opportunities in other areas. Huge fan of Marcus Aurelius, and fortune favors the bold. So I'm just going to throw this out here. I feel like a missed opportunity is starting at Sterling and running a turnpike up just west of Hayes. You could run through Lyons, Great Bend, Ellenwood, Hoisington, La Crosse, maybe even Leaventhal. Depends on where you want it to go. But we're running by all of those, and give us a highway to Hayes from Wichita. I think it would be it'd be a brilliant idea. I think you'd get a lot of traffic on it. Thank you.
I will say, we are open to all those feasibility studies. There's been multiple feasibility studies, US 54 out to Liberal and others. So we work with KDOT. If there's an appetite for feasibility studies to expand, we're willing to do that. I think what we run into, there has to be, tolling itself is a challenge to pay for 100% of it. And that's what you run into. So I think the legislation that was passed in 2019, that opens a door that tolling can partner with the state on projects if the state and the turnpike want to do that. And again, we're not looking to expand per se, but we are always open to that conversation if KDOT or the state would like us to do that, for sure.
So when you're thinking about doing a partnership like that, I mean, could it be viewed as the state is investing in the KTA and, eventually getting a return on that? And, I know right now all your money goes into, fixing your roads and everything that you build, but maybe having I can't think of a good word this morning, kick back to the state, for, putting up a certain amount of funds to help build out that what I like to call the highway to Hayes from Wichita.
Oh, I think the legislature can design it and create it any way they want to. I think the key for us is if tolling can be a tool to help a potential project, we are more than willing to have that discussion. Our board is very positive on those kind of things, and staff loves projects. And I do think it would need to be a partnership of some kind. How it all is put together, I think that's just, I think a discussion really starts with the legislature on looking at potential projects in the future.
Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you for that answer. That was good to hear. And community cost sharing projects are important. I know I've been working the last 4 years with different stakeholders on that 29th California project. And now it sits on the edge of my district, but still, nonetheless, it's an area that really needs to be considered, so I appreciate that. Matter of fact, meeting with some people today on that project, and hopefully we can connect again. I know the schedules have gone back and forth, but no, I appreciate that. So, Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, just got a few quick questions here that kind of go in line. Do you, and Steve, thanks for the input here today. Do you receive, I know you get crash data, but do you receive like speeding data from the Highway Patrol? Like, do you track that? People driving over 100 mile an hour?
We don't track that. Well, let me tell you what our system can do. Our system's not calibrated to law enforcement. We know from one gantry, one toll zone to the next toll zone, I would know how fast you were going in general terms. So I could probably, because you got there pretty quick. So our timing would tell us that. You got here at 12:04, you got here at 12:10. We'd know that mile. So our system would tell us what, but it's not calibrated for law enforcement. We don't provide that to law enforcement.
Yeah.
Law enforcement is independent from us. They do their own thing. Law enforcement doesn't share. They tell us the activity that's happening on the turnpike. Hey, because they work with our incident management team, because they work with our maintenance folks and everybody, but they're independent as well. So even a ticket or arrest or speeding, they send all their revenue and all that information to the state. I would know pretty close how fast you were going, but again, we don't share that. That would be just in our IT information that we have.
Yeah, and that's not really what I was after. I'm more after, do they provide or do you assess that as you're looking at projects or safety concerns, making changes?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great, okay. Yes, we do look at that. That's part of our safety assessment. We look at speeds, we look at curves, we look at drainage, we look at weather condition, we look at pavement condition. All that is considered, absolutely. Understanding though, for example, I live in Wichita. I go every day on the turnpike. I go south around to 135, and so there's some really sharp curves. And when I'm in the inside at 75 miles an hour, it can be I pinch up a little bit, I guess you could say. I talked to engineering about those things. I said, well, yeah. So we evaluate those curves. We evaluate the pavement. We evaluate the friction on the pavement, so it's safer because if those are on bridges and it's hard you can't just stretch out the turnpike and just stretch it all out, make it straight. So we have to live with some of those things, but we do assess speed. Would we ever need to slow things down in metro areas? We've had those discussions in-house. We consider all factors when it comes to potential items, and speed is definitely one of them we look at.
So you would be able to either influence, or do you have preference on in those areas of what that speed should be?
Yes, so what we would do, we have a threshold where we can recommend to our board to consider a safety zone to potentially drop speeds if we wanted to, based on if we felt like our engineering team felt it was a safety issue.
Just one follow-up there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'm heading somewhere with this, obviously. It'll help me. So given all that, our SB 113 that we pass out as committee, the 100 mile an hour bill, that went out amended to be at 35 mile an hour above the speed. Do you have any take on that, or what are your thoughts?
Well,
And that's why I was asking, you know, whether or not you received data on how many people are driving 100 mile an hour over, or 35 mile an hour over the speed limit at any given place on the turnpike.
we look at that kind of data, and we support slowing folks down. I mean, from a standpoint of following, we have a recommended speed, and we're not going to recommend at higher speed. So but if we had issues with our current speed, we'd recommend to our board we'd lower that speed. Now, we feel like we've got, our system can handle the speed, limits that we currently have. But yes, we do look at that. We'll constantly look at that. Engineering, working with, if we get some information from Highway Patrol, we would consider some thoughts on that. So our board has that authority to make adjustments if needed. So, but we do support slowing people down and following the current speed limits for sure.
That's really helpful to me. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your presentation. Just coincidentally, last week, a few people were in out of town renting vehicles, and they were extremely upset. I get a phone call as to, well, they couldn't find any place to pay. I said, well, you'll get the ticket in the mail. And they were, is there anything that could be done? I mean, you just yank those booths out without really testing that system. And there is frustration from out-of-state people. And I know they're not our constituents, but it is a concern.
Well, yeah, and I appreciate that. I mean, I think we're always looking for good feedback like that. Customers are customers, so we put a lot of Drive KS information out there. I think signage is always something we try to push. We have DMS signage. We're looking to actually upgrade some DMS signs in the future that are a bit more, I think, visible. We'll continue to do that, and that's good feedback because we want to make sure folks have a way to pay, understand how it's going to work, so they don't, I think, worry and don't get stressed out and come to us. I appreciate that. And again, so that's why we put a robust information from marketing and communications. Maybe there's always more ways to improve that. We'll look at that, but I do appreciate that feedback because, yeah, we want to try to be as as visible as possible for those customers.
So thank you, Mr. Chairman. So how does it work with the rental company? Does it show up on their doorstep, or does the bill go to the rental company?
Oh, a rental company? I'm sorry. Oh,
I mean, they rented a vehicle.
Yeah, so the rental-
They're really worried about
Yeah.
how this is going to happen.
rental companies are a challenge for two ways. Many rental companies already have put a transponder in the vehicle, and the transponder is not from KTA. So Florida, Texas, multiple states. And so they've already got a transponder in that agreement, in that vehicle. The agreement you sign as a customer to rent that's an agreement between you and the rental company. If you have a K-tag or have the Drive KS account, that's helpful. But if that rental company already has a transponder in that vehicle and you drive any turnpike, doesn't matter, Kansas Turnpike or any of them, you're going to be at the mercy of that agreement you signed with the rental companies. Rental companies are a challenge. Now, the best thing, if you get a rental company that does not have that in there, your Drive KS account works great. K-tag or punch that tag in or let us know, then you can get the lowest rates and your billing's fine. Otherwise, what'll happen if you don't, yes, the rental company gets the bill. It's either charged to a large mega account, or through an interop agreement we have, or we send a bill to them, they pay it, they'll pay the fees, and then they'll send an administration charge to that customer who rented that vehicle. Rental companies are a challenge. It works really well if they don't have a transponder already embedded in that vehicle, but many of them do because they work with Florida, they work with Texas, they work with others, and that can be a moneymaker for rental companies, and I think that's why they do it. So I can't solve all that. The best thing we can tell you is if they don't have a a transponder, your K-tag, Drive KS account, it works fine. If it doesn't, you're at the mercy of the rental company.
Some of those people have issues. Could they contact Drive KS or our customer service to help?
Please do, yes. You Drive KS, you can email us, you can send us a direct message on social media, you can call our number, 1-800-MY-K-TAG. We're here to help. And I would please send them to us, or reach out to us directly, to me even directly, and I'll get it to our team to reach out to them and work with those customers to solve. And if even it's a rental company issue, we'll walk them through that and help them the best we can. Anything, we want to make sure we're helping all travelers.
Senator Bowers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Steve, for being here. I'd be amiss if I didn't mention this publicly, how much I appreciate your customer service from someone who owns 3 car dealerships and many D-tags on how it could be complicated when you're going to the rental car situation. Dealers, we went through a whole different separate work through, which I appreciate. But I really do want to commend your staff for, it was like whack-a-mole when we were getting constituents talking to us about the tolling billings that they were receiving, either emails or on the cell phone, would just put a batch down and then another batch would come. And people were really worried. And I remember one senior citizen in Concordia who almost gave his password to his computer to one of these folks, and how your staff stopped it all. So I don't think we say enough about the people who help with customer service on the many different problems that you've had with that. And I just want to say thank you to them, and if you pass that on for us.
Well, thank you very much.
Steve.
Yes, the text alert scam was very robust. It affected all toll agencies across the country, included the federal government helping. I mean, a site would go down, a new site would come up. We even hired a third party to help, find those sites before they were up very long, try to get them down. That was a huge challenge. I'm sure that's not the last challenge we face in this world of, I guess, information security issues, but I appreciate you letting me know that, and our staff I'll let them know, because I do appreciate our customer service folks. I want to say, my opportunity publicly to say, listen, we have our maintenance guys are working hard every day for you. Customer service folks are working hard for you. I really appreciate all our staff from A to Z. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you letting us tell our story and be a part of this effort. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We have to give up the room at 25 after. However, I do have one question. The federal taxes on commercial motor fuel that are sold on a turnpike and the trucks that drive those miles, does that go to the state to help them since it doesn't go to the turnpike?
Yes, all taxes that are collected from the fueling facilities are sent to the state. They're not, we don't take any of those dollars. So I think there's been a misconception that we would collect those as well. We don't take any of that. So any of the taxes that are generated from sales tax to fuel tax on the service areas, from fuel to food or whatever, it's going to the state. We don't take any of that.
So I just want to be clear, it's going to the state, but the state doesn't keep it all.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on how the breakdown goes. That's not my, I'm not an expert in that area, but I just know it's not sent to KTA. Maybe I should have clarified that. Federal, state, it's all sent that direction. KTA does not receive any of it.
Right, the commercial vehicles are by the miles that they drive and it's divided up. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's time.
With that, we are adjourned.